Welcome to the garden. Today I'm going to be planting out my marigolds for the summer season. And we bought one packet of seed a few years ago, and by saving your seeds, you can get literally thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of seeds. They are an annual, but they're really one of the best annuals you can plant. Just sprinkling on our seeds fairly generously. Get a really nice coating so that they come up thick. Then we'll thin them out later. So to cover them, we're just going to sprinkle some more potting soil directly on top. This is a really simple way to plant. I have great success because you can pick exactly how deep you plant them. These ones we're going to cover with about a half a centimeter to a centimeter of soil. And these are ready to water, and then we'll keep them in the greenhouse until they sprout. I'm going through my entire stock of seeds, and I'm picking out some summer plants that I want to start. So I'm starting basil and cilantro. Cilantro is sometimes known as coriander, and there's a little trick you can do that I want to try this year. You can take the seeds, and if we just crush these open, just kind of break them in half, we'll expose that seed in the center, and they'll germinate a little bit quicker, because these take a really long time to germinate. These seeds that'll grow cilantro are actually the coriander spice. So they're nice and crunchy, but they have a citrusy, almost lemon type flavor. They're really tasty. Keep some of them whole, and I'm only going to do about 2 per cell. I can always plant out more later. This is one of those plants that you really want to successively plant. So every couple weeks, plant another batch. Can you guess what these ones are? These are blackberry seeds. Really beautiful. There's a couple purple ones, a couple tan ones. There's even a blue one. I think that's kind of covered in fertilizer though. It's not really their natural color. But aren't they beautiful? My goodness, they look like little walnuts or something. Or little mushroom caps, like a morel mushroom. So next to our cilantro, I'm going to plant out these little blackberries. Gorgeous little seeds. I'm going to try 2 per cell, and we're just going to press them down lightly into the soil just until they're barely covered. And then we'll just cover these with a little bit more potting soil. And then I've got a whole bunch more to do, like cucumbers. I want to do some more peppers. So I've got a lot of planting to do today, but my goal is to now fill the entire greenhouse. So I'm going to be planting out our basil because it's a little early to plant it out in my garden. It's just too cold for basil. It's a really warm temperature plant, and it needs that heat to germinate really quickly too, so we should get a nice head start by planting some out. I like to use seed cells. We're just going to fill the cells most of the way up, shake off a little bit of that extra soil. I don't want any big chunks of wood chips or anything right on the surface. And we want to make sure they're all about the same depth. So just like that. We've settled that soil just a little bit, but we're not pressing it down yet. So we'll take our basil seed. These were some that I harvested from flowers. So there's a little bit of flour still mixed in there. But the seeds are this wonderful little black seed. So they're actually quite large for an herb seed. But we're still going to plant them fairly shallow in this container. So what we're going to do is just sprinkle on a bunch. That way we get a dozen or so plants per cell, and then we can decide whether to plant them out in a big cluster or whether we want to split them up. So we still have the option of thinning them out to 1 or 2 plants. So now I'm just going to lightly press, and since we've settled the soil, we're not really compacting it much, we're just pressing those seeds into the surface. That way they get good contact with that soil and they stay nice and moist. And then the no-dig method basically is just to do a little dusting on top, because herb seeds really need to be planted out fairly shallow. Then another little pat and we're ready to water these in. And now I want to let all that water settle before I add any more. We don't want to flood the seeds so that they rise to the surface. We just want to slowly saturate that soil. Just about reached the weight limit on this shelf, I think. 3 containers. Pretty decent size. As long as we don't add anything else, I think we'll be good. But there's definitely a limit, that's for sure. So I might even distribute them a little bit. Have a tomato down here, put some of the lighter seed cells up here. So we'll fill this out today, no problem. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.